Hey guys, Carlos Cortez here with another episode of Scriptures and Wall Street. There's so much to talk about, but really, I want to ask you one question. How's it feeling right now? How's it feeling that we have an open border, that when you go to the grocery store, you can't even just spend $100 and get a whole week's worth of food? How's it feel that the new 100 is like the $100 bill is like the new 20? Inflation is through the roof. And as we look at this inflation index, more and more Americans are legit concerned about how high this inflation is really ticking off. Are we going to become a Zimbabwe or an African country that inflation's in the 1,000 to 2,000%, and our dollar, our currency, is going to go like Venezuela's, just thrown on the floor? But I wanted to just really talk about today is that we really need to get our message right. We need to get our message right. We actually need the next president to build this wall, to focus on fossil fuels, to basically knock out this deep state and pray that God protects us from a World War III scenario. Because that's where we're headed. We have open walls. We have no fossil fuels. We have a segue and a massive ramp into World War III. You think inflation is just a problem. We have bigger macroeconomic problems that will just usher in so many other bad things. Where to the point that our government, I mean, obviously it is, but our government will be naturally insolvent. And so we can't be afraid, but we have to prepare. And so I really wanted to talk about, like, there's a lot of noise and people are frantic about their money. If I could just share some insight about what to do with your retirement and maybe talk about a few Bible verses and spread the light, then that's what I'll do. But today, I just wanted to focus on just getting our message right and obviously the facts that are happening right now in our U.S. economy. So it's been like a broken record. I've said, what you guys hear me say over 2 years now is that commercial real estate would be our demise. Commercial real estate has caused massive amounts of unknown problems, unforeseen problems that people are sleeping on. And just like I said, not that I'm like some genius or anything, but in reality, commercial real estate is going to be terrible, absolutely terrible for our economy. We saw that the AT&T building with AT&T, obviously, in St. Louis was over a $90 million property, a legit $90 million property, and it got sold off. It got sold off to an auction for $4 million. We already know this. But just like I said, we will see bank failures in the next few weeks. I also said that we will see businesses walk away from their buildings. And I've been saying that since last year. Here in Tampa, Florida, we had United Healthcare just literally walk away from one of their buildings that they were leasing. It was over 80,000 square foot building. They don't need it anymore. And so here we are again. Burnett Plaza, the tallest building in Fort Worth, has been sold at a foreclosure auction for $12.3 million. In 2021, it sold for $137.5 million. Here we are. We're having this meltdown in the commercial real estate space. These people, and if you go in and read this article, it basically talks about how there's no need for office space anymore because everybody's working from home. Now they're saying commercial real estate could be a problem. No, idiots, it is a problem. It is a problem. But the media has done a great job of hiding how weak our commercial real estate's, how weak the bank has been, how weak our federal government has been, because they just spending money and spending money and spending money. Like, when's it going to stop? When's it going to stop? So we spoke about commercial real estate. Okay? We spoke about commercial real estate. And the fact that is that it is trickling everywhere from businesses, that we are not even spending any money. So here we are. We got the tallest building in Dallas, Fort Worth. And let me tell you, Dallas is no slouch. Dallas is like the 5th largest economy in the world. You heard that right. They're in the top 5 economies in the whole world is Dallas. Dallas, yeah. I mean, it's an amazing statistic. Dallas is one of our strongest economies in all of America. And, dude, they can't even, I mean, businesses are failing because people are working from home. Where else is that showing up? Where else is that showing up? We have foreclosures at an all-time high, man. So they're lying about the banks, they're lying about commercial real estate, and they're lying about the correlation on how that's going to affect the everyday consumer. You see, banks make money off of commercial real estate loans. Banks enjoy giving money to businesses about offices, about operating expenses. They enjoy it because that's where they make the bulk of their money. And also, banks invest in treasuries, so it is very stable. They can loan out. They simply can loan out their money using the Fed funds rate and basically give Joe the plumber a small business loan or a credit line. You know, if Joe the plumber is getting a small business loan for 7%, and all of a sudden the interest rate shot past over 7%, the bank is losing money on every dollar that they loaned out, something that they were relying on making a profit. And so we're going to see more bank failures. It is not a secret. It is not a secret. And so I can't tell you strongly and urge you to reconsider where you are doing your banking business at. I'm not in your state. I can only tell you what's going on. But I will say that I highly would recommend that you look at state chartered banks. And even with that, you got to split it up. Have multiple banks. Let me say my disclosure here. Everything on this podcast is for education and information purposes only. I am a financial advisor, but this is not investment advice or retirement advice. If you would like advice, give us a call, 813-448-3446, or visit us our website at cortezwm.com. And most importantly, you can download our free guide at americafirstretirementplan.com. Also, if you book an appointment with us and I get to speak with you, or you get to speak with one of my advisors, I will personally send you a free copy of this book. They want me to sell it. It's $16. I don't need the $16. I already spent a bunch of money getting these hardbacks. I would rather have it in your hands so you could read it. I'll sign it. I'll ship it out to you. Just email me, info@cortezwm.com. If you're a current client, only if you're a current client, I'll send this book out for you for free, no problem. And then if you would like one, then let us give you a second opinion. All I got to do is book an appointment with us at cortezwm.com, and we can just discuss your financial future. It's just a simple conversation. So it is interesting, guys. Like, it is completely interesting that we need security at the border. We need our fossil fuels back. You can't literally just think that we can go green energy and not have a process to convert. Look, maybe green energy is the future, but it's not working right now, dog. It ain't working right now. It costs more money to make a queer Tesla and all these like wussy freaking EV cars. I'm sorry, if you're a man and you drive an electric car, I question your manhood. What man doesn't want 8 cylinders, 12 cylinders, 10 cylinders, blah, 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 you know, rocking, hearing those notes that come out of that beautiful exhaust. Like, that is American muscle, man. Like, I love that. I enjoy that. And if you don't like that, what is wrong with you? Seriously. Email me or send your man card in because you're getting that junk clipped. But look, man, we need our fossil fuels. We need our truckers on the road. We need steel workers doing their thing. We need our miners. We need fossil fuels, guys, in order for our country to keep on growing. That is the first Achilles heel that he stabbed at, was fossil fuels. And because we are not performing, it is causing an economic meltdown worldwide. We are considered weak because our economy is weak. We have other countries that want to build without the American dollar. They're tired of getting bullied by the American dollar. And more importantly, they just want to try to establish their own currency. I don't think it'll work. That's the good news. The bad news is it's going down. It's going down. Even Janet Yellen is having problems basically doing damage control because all these other countries are going against us. And she's like, no, don't do that, little Johnny boy. We're going to smack you. Yeah, she needs a spanking, right? Like, that's going to really discipline other countries. First and foremost, they don't respect women in other countries. And we appeared weak to have a woman leader, internationally speaking. Like, these countries, you kidding me? Russia, China, do you see any women there on their executive legislative boards making laws and having monetary? No, man. No. And I'm sorry if you're a feminist. You probably don't even like me anyway, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, the other countries don't respect women. What makes you think that Janet Yellen can fly overseas to Moscow or Russia and talk about how strong our dollar is and how we're safe and effective and solvent? Man, it is a crap show. But here, I really want to talk about parental discretion here. If you're a little kid, I want to warn you, what I'm about to show you is extremely graphic, and it could traumatize you. So this is highly, highly graphic and very, very disturbing. And I like cringe when I see it because it really is like severed in my brain. So I have to like deprogram my mind after watching this. So if you're a little kid, please step away, because this is not suitable for young children and for many adults. Roll the tape, Mike.
The U.S. government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, because it's like the government clearly prints money. It does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
So as you saw that video, like I had a cringe when I first saw that. That was absolutely terrible. Here we are. We got Jared Bernstein. This guy, let me tell you, is running the show. He is advising this whatever president, fake president, garbage president about the status of our economic future. He is advising. He got installed in February 2023. The guy couldn't even answer the simple question of why do we borrow money when the government just keeps on printing it, or the government can print it? And he says it's complicated. You know what? It is complicated if you're scamming the American people. If you're scamming, there's a lot of holes in there. And look at his body language. He was queasing and turning around and couldn't answer, couldn't look the camera in the eye. This is who we have running our country. This is why we're having a problem. This is why we're looked as weak. This is why the whole world's going crazy, because they're used to us being the dollar gangster. They're used to us financially being the baddest country in the world. And we've lost that platform because we want to focus on things that are easy and right and gummy bear pastors and just be really, really soft and Black Lives Matter. And everybody needs a hug. You know, love wins. Like, we've gotten so soft, man. Even Christianity is a joke. Even Christianity is a joke. So, I'm calling all the men to fill up your diesel trucks, to be present with their families, be present with their wives. It's time to use our dollar. It's time to be the American man that God has called us to be. And we really need to do an introspect, because a lot of us are building our income to seek comfort. We're not building our income to be a blessing to others. We're seeking comfort. And this is how we become soft. We are becoming soft as a country, and other countries have these fangs, and they're just waiting to prowl on us, and they already are. And we're soft on our border. We're just soft on every sinking thing. And we know this president is weak. We know 4 years is coming up. And we've been patient. We've been patient. They've tried to take your 45 SIG or Glock. They've tried to take your 9mm and make it illegal. They tried to take our AR-15s away, or like Joe Biden says, those AR-14s. They've tried to take God out of churches. They tried to lock down our churches. They tried to vaccinate us. They tried to do everything. Now they're putting mRNA in flu shots. They're putting mRNA in our meats. They're putting all this junk all in our garbage, or in our consumables. Our kids from just 10, 12 years ago are vaccinated with what we thought was normal vaccines, not the jab, but the normal vaccines. And now all of a sudden there's an ADHD pandemic everywhere. They can't even have children's psychologists. Like, you can't find them. There's like 8, 9, 10-month waiting lists for doctors that can treat children with mental health issues. This is the deep state. This is all the work of the deep state. And Bernstein is right in it. We need to get this guy's ass out of there ASAP. We need a president that can go in there with an Isaiah 54 sword and just start knocking heads over. Slicing heads off the domes, just like David did when he had that head in his hand and he walked around. This is your leader. I have it in my hand. That's the priesthood man that we need. We need a priesthood as a leader. It is time for the warrior king to come out in all of us. If you're from the street or you grew up in a country like I did, it's that dog in you. The dog needs to come out in you. And we've been seeking comfort, man. Like every man that I know, including myself, has been out of shape. We've lost connection with our bodies. We've been eating like a bunch of assholes. We're not taking care of ourselves spiritually or physically. And how are we supposed to keep our body a temple when we're eating garbage? How are we supposed to be present and look God in the face when we can't even take care of our temple, let alone our finances? Like, it's time to get your act together. And why are we trusting our checkbook? Why are we trusting our checkbook more than what God promises us? Like, I hear people say, oh my God, I'm running out of money. I'm running out of money. Look, I panic too. But how much faith are you putting in the dollar and rather what God has provided for us? Didn't he say he'll provide for all of our needs? Didn't he say that he will provide for the birds in the air? Didn't he say he provides sunshine for the lilies? He can provide for the animals. But yet, we fear, and I do this too. That's why I'm speaking about it. We fear where our next meal is coming from sometimes. We fear how we're going to pay this bill, how we're going to do this. And yet the animals, you don't hear them worrying. They're in their own little dominion, and so are we. But we're in alignment with God. And so I don't trust this economic advisor of Jared Bernstein. He's lying right out of his teeth. And I've said this from day one, guys. The stock market's rigged. The banks are rigged. The whole system is rigged against us. And where does this leave us to? So there's this thing, I want to bring it up. Back in 2008, you know what the first things that people are doing? They're stopping their wants, and they're really just buying their needs. And so if you look at Starbucks, I got a little sell order there to get out of it if you were in a buy position. It was at 94.88. I got alert. Boom. Fast forward May 10th, 2024. It's at 76.11 it closed. People are not buying $5-6 Starbucks because they can't even afford groceries, let alone having a latte or Americano. Let me end you on a little secret. You can buy, go to your coffee, Williams Sonoma or wherever, and buy you a nice coffee maker that makes coffee better than Starbucks, and focus on the water that you're drinking. Find the best pH water that's not chemically enhanced. You can go to AmericFirstWater.com, check them out. I personally own them. I've been owning them for 10 years. This helps my mother with her arthritis. This helped me with my diabetic issues. I am type 2. I am getting reversed. I'm losing weight, getting back in shape. Long story, but yeah, it's pretty much reversed. And I'm not on any medication. So it's A1C is under 5.5. It used to be a 12, and I didn't even know it. So that was scary. But all we got to do is get in shape, and it starts with nutrition. I love the coffees, but the whole thing about the Starbucks index is that if you look back in 2008, does this look familiar? All we got to do is look at the Starbucks Cup of Joe theory. It's called the Cup of Joe theory. People don't buy expensive coffee when they don't have the money. If the consumer is not willing to spend the extra $5-6 on a coffee, they don't got it, man. Because jobs are not what they used to be. Inflation's through the roof. Everything is going up because they keep on printing and printing and printing money. The stupid bimbo Bernstein can't even pronounce it right. That, look, we are printing money because we have so much debt. But hello, Chinese are literally bailing out of our bonds, $72 billion. They just dumped our bonds. We need somebody to invest in America and hold our bonds. But guess what? The Bank of International Settlements, they are literally putting us on notice that we are no longer attractive anymore. We are no longer sexy to the international investor. That is depressing. As a kid, as a former stockbroker that was attracted to Wall Street back in the 90s, early 2000s, that was like the coolest gig, man. I was so proud, and I still am proud to be American because I would never turn my back on America. Neither should you. But I thought working on Wall Street was a very patriotic thing at one point, because how blessed we are to work for the American backbone, which is the financial. Like, it is so strong. Like, international investors would come over here and actually buy life insurance policies from Asia, because over there, they don't pay anything. Over here, they know that they will get a reserve on their money. They would actually have a guaranteed paid out. And so the strength of our economy, of what it was very attractive. And I love that our troops fought for our spirit of enterprise, that our troops fought for capitalism. Capitalism has been amazing. It has its downfall, just like any other type of governments. But look at Starbucks. I just think this is phenomenal. Wednesday, 17th of January of 07, right before that economic, I get a red alert, 2007, I get a red alert on Starbucks that we need to short it. Dude, this is when Starbucks was like hot. Like, people were buying $40, $50 at Starbucks, and it wasn't even a thing. Here we are to short it. Unbelievable. And all throughout 2008, it just went down. And if we layer it with the S&P 500, it looks identical to the 2008. So we can line the Starbucks index with the S&P 500, and basically it allows us to know that the consumer is in pain. And if the consumer's in pain, then spending will be down all across the board. And we got bigger issues, man. We got bigger issues. But my thing is that Jared Bernstein, is he running a scam? Is the U.S. economy, is the government a scam? Is their monetary policy a scam? We have an illegitimate Federal Reserve. We have a illegitimate IRS. Unconstitutional on both ends. It's like they're running the Ponzi scheme. They're hurting the American people. You know what it is to save in your 401ks for 20, 30 years? Work 40 years, only to know that all that money that you saved up in your 401k, you don't even own it? Imagine that. And we talked about that in my book. Imagine going to work every day for 40 years, thinking that you can tell your wife and kids, hey, don't worry, daddy has a huge 401k. I'm going to take care of not only my retirement, but I'm also going to pass what's left off to you. Only to know that while mom and dad are taking money away from this 401k to fund their lives, that you only own half of it. Oh, and by the way, when you pass away, it's called a non-inherited spousal IRA, and that the government has already positioned their assets, their taking of assets in that situation. There is trillions with a T, as in Tom, as in takeover. There's trillions of dollars that will be shifted from the current generation to the baby boomers, from the baby boomers to the most wealthiest of ever historical demographic, which is the millennials. The government knows darn well how to take that money back from all of these retirement accounts, and it's through the non-spousal inherited IRAs. So when mom and dad die, when mom or when dad passes away and mom gets everything, there's no taxes right now. They can commingle the funds into their own IRAs. The only time you can do that No. But when you pass away and it's in the IRA and mom and dad are both gone, it is going to the children 50-50, 100%. The children have to pay those taxes within 5 to 10 years. And if you're only making $50,000 a year and you have $500,000 that you have to take out and pay taxes, and let's just say you got to pull $100,000 out every single year, dude, you're making $150,000 and now your tax bracket is at 40%. So you're basically you're losing 40% of your job's income, your annual wage, plus what mom and dad gave you. So keep on. And now if we have a death tax, then you better watch that death tax, because the death tax is coming. So the death tax right now went from $12.92 million to $13.61 million. And when you pass away, anything over that amount, yes, it is 40%, anything over $1 million. And here's the crazy part, is that the life insurance is tax-free, but it's not voided from the death tax. So it counts towards the death estate exemption, the federal estate exemption. So we got to be very, very careful. They already know. The government already knows how to take your money out. So they're going to do it to qualified retirement accounts. When mom and dad pass away, the children get it. Boom. You got to take all that money out in 5 years. Or if your estate is over $13 million, which really it can get there because the homes, the life insurance, the IRAs, 401ks, many Americans won't be there, but many other Americans will be there. And they are just going to clean house, man. They're going to clean house. So this is how Bernstein, in my opinion, can't answer the fact that the government can just print money and borrow its own money. No, someone has to pay for it. And it's going to come through the death tax. It's going to come from estate tax exemption laws and qualified force requirements. They're going to force us to pay taxes on our IRAs and 401ks through the hard-working backs of Americans. And so the Vision 2030 of you will own nothing and die happy. This is what Klaus Schwab wanted of the World Economic Forum. And it begs a question, like, where's the strings being pulled? Who is getting paid? What rulers in our country that we voted for, supposedly, where's their conflict of interest? And how you can infer intent by the results given. So we can basically come up with what we think their intention is because how they're performing. And everything that they're doing here is just ungodly detrimental to our American country, to our beautiful country. We're in life support right now. And many of you would say, you know what, I'm going to buy gold, I'm going to buy silver. And I would be careful. I'm not anti-gold, I'm not precious metals, but check my new site out at CortezWealthGold.com. I highly recommend our guys at Genesis, but definitely go through our site, Cortez Wealth Gold, so they can get you preferred rates and see what they can say. Because I don't want you guys putting more than 20% in precious metals, because the commodities market, are you joking me, is extremely manipulated. And what are you going to sell all your gold or silver into anyway when the market's really high? I mean, our country is doing bad. It's only a hedge, guys. It is not meant for your IRAs. And if you have gold IRAs, give me a call. We want to get you out of it because they're not safe like you think they are. First and foremost, the government owns the IRA. And secondly, you probably are paying over an exorbitant amount of sales charges with some of the bad guys on the precious metals market. If that's you, let me give you a second opinion at least on what we can do, if we can even help you. Just give us a call, 813-448-3446, or visit us at CortezWM.com. You want to make sure that it is structured right, that it's structured fairly, and and you're not being screwed. Now, for those of you that are trying to protect your money, so I say all this, so what's the end game? Well, here it is. Before I talk about the end game or a resolution, I want to look at KRE. Dude, this is so jacked up. Look at KRE right now. I legit have a buy signal on tax day, April 15th of 2024 for $46.91. I get my buy alert from my scanner. You guys know I have a really cool scanner. Of course, I can't predict the stock market and say the G word, but we have a very, very good AI-based, analysis-based, based on a bunch of different technicals that our scanner is running thousands of different technical analysis per second. And it gives us the quantitative measurements of what it possibly can do. And they simplifies it from my end because computers are smarter than me. They have no emotions. We get a indicator to buy April 15th at $46.91. Right now, the daggone thing is at $50.35. This is KRE. This is the bank index. What on earth why are the banks going up 10% since 4/15? I'm recording this May 10th. Not even a month later, we got a 10% return. They're throwing money at the banks because they don't want all hell to break loose. They're throwing money at the banks because they're bailing them out when they're not supposed to. They're throwing money in the banks because they're creating this fake facade that everything's fine. They're throwing money in the banks because they know that they're screwed. They're throwing money in the banks because the government's a bunch of freaking liars. They're throwing the money in the banks because they know they don't want to take the hit. They don't want it on their watch. The whole thing is rigged, guys. There's no freaking way the banks are becoming profitable. There's no freaking way. Look, if you're an economist or if you know why or if you have an answer, please let me know. If you're a financial guy, please, I will have you on the show. Please explain, why is KRE going up? Because I don't know. Or what I do know and what I suspect is there's some funny business going on at the governmental level, and they're lying to the American people. They're lying to us. The Starbucks index don't lie, man. Like, people can't afford $5, $6 coffees. So here's the deal. What do? I've talked about the covenant process. I've talked about bank failures. We talked about real estate, foreclosing. Look, if you're buying a crib, if you're buying a house right now, just wait. Give it 6 to 8 months. Give it a good 6 to 8 months. There's the interest rates are so unstable right now. They want higher interest rates and they can't. They're printing money so much that our dollar is becoming not a store of value anymore to other countries. They're printing money so bad right now that no one wants to even touch it. They want to dump our dollar, internationally speaking. And it's getting scary, man. Like, I really believe because we're weakening, we are going to allow for World War III to happen. You see, America, we are like the world police. I don't know why we ever signed up for that. I don't understand. But we keep all the countries in check. That's how powerful our financial dollar is, or was. And we can't do that if we don't build a wall. We can't do that if we don't have fossil fuels. And we can't do that if we have this deep state. But we have to understand, man, like, we got to start protecting our money. And the only way to protect our money is through diversifying out of red money. We understand that red money is money that you cannot control, money that you have no control with. And right now, that's anything red money is going to be your stocks, your bonds, your mutual funds, precious metals, and crypto. And I'm a big fan of crypto. I'm a fan of precious metals, but it's speculative. It's red money. If you want red money, cool. But know that we shouldn't have $2 million in red money and either be retired or even worse, 90 years old and have all of our eggs on red money side when there's another option. That option is green money. That option is safety. There's insurance companies that will allow you to have IRAs protect your money with contractually guarantees that can grow with the S&P 500 without no risk, that can grow with a Barclays Transition Index, that can shift to commodities, that could shift to treasuries, that could shift to NASDAQ and S&P 500, put it all in a beautiful index and rebalance it every single day using software like what I have now, AI, that can determine, hey, we should go here because we got an alert. We can go here tactically on autopilot, where you don't have to worry about is gold going to skyrocket. Speaking of gold, look, this is not advice, but gold is going up. And my alert system, my scanner is saying gold is going to go up. That means our economy is going to do bad. So I want you to start thinking, like, what is your residence? What is your household going to do if gold continues to go up? How is that going to affect your everyday lives? I don't want you to think like everyone else. You're smarter than that. Gold is going up for a reason because our economy is on life support. Do you have your iodine? Do you have your medical needs? Do you have medicine? Do you have food? Do you have your AR-15? Do you have your ammo? Do you have your guns? I want you to start thinking, look, what if? What if there's a civil war? What if the economy there's Armageddon? What if? Is precious metals really going to save your life? I don't think it will. If the bank falls, big freaking deal. We planned for it. We talked for it. How is that going to change your life? I've already told you, don't put all your money in banks. They're falling off, man. They're lying. They're freaking lying right out of the teeth. The banks are in terrible positions. Just a week ago, a research study from the Solera Group said that over 192 banks are insolvent, but the government doesn't want us to know. So, which one from the FedNow program is that? Which I think, in my opinion, call me conspiracy theory, I believe that the Federal Reserve wants only a few oligarch banks, only like 4 or 5 of them. They want to crash all the other ones and be able to dictate to these banks, this is what's going to happen. This is why we need this. And these 4 or 5 banks, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, and any other Luciferian bank out there, they're going to be like, if they're buying guns, we need to cancel them and blackmail them so they never open up a checking account again. So if I was you, I would start opening up checking accounts with these all types of banks because they're going to stop our ability to commerce with any bank we want. I'm telling you, that's where they're headed at. They're going to start limiting our freedoms of opening up our accounts with financial institutions. That's what I feel in my spirit. I can't prove it. I could only see. So call me tinfoil hat. I don't give a flip. I'm not here to cater to your feelings. I'm here to tell you what I think is going to happen. And I think I can totally see it. I can totally see it. And their stupid little disclosures, the behavioral clauses, like, did you do your homework from last podcast? I said, call your bank and ask for the account adoptions agreement, the privacy notice, all the notices that you signed when you opened up your checking account. Call them and actually read it. All 24, 48 pages. You'll fall asleep, I promise you. But just read it and look at the table of contents, behavioral, withdrawal, large cash withdrawals. And it's in there. They could limit your withdrawals based on your behavior. The problem is that these woke banks, they don't like me and you. They don't like the Carlos Cortezes, the Stu Peters of the world, the Nick Fuentes, the Donald Trumps, the Dan Bonginos. They don't like the guys that are outspoken. They don't like us, man. And so What do? They try to cancel us. God forbid. God forbid if Hunter Biden opens up a bank account. The guy will get paid. The guy will freaking get paid to open up a bank account. The guy's a celebrity. He's a jokester and scum of the earth, and he's a celebrity. For what? For selling us out. That's the world we live in, y'all. That's the world we live in, man. So what I would do in this situation, again, this is not financial advice. This is for information and educational purposes only. If I was retired, I was 65 years old and I had $500,000, I would take $250,000, put in treasuries. I would take the other $250,000, put it in a fixed index contract with one of our A-rated insurance companies. And call it safe money or green money. I'll take that $250,000 of safe money. I would never touch it. I'll let that double every 5 to 7 years. We're getting amazing returns. Last year, we did over 19%. The year before that, we lost like 2%. The year before that, we made over 24. The year before that, we did 21. In 2017, we did over 40%. I mean, these contracts, no fees, no risk. I would allow that to marinate and grow, while the other half of the money I would use as income. We're depleting this account over the next 5 to 7 years, and while we're depleting that account for liquidity purpose, we have our safe money doubling. And guess what? It's out of the banking system. The government can't come in and take it because it's out of their jurisdiction. I would do that. And maybe with the liquid portion, I would maybe carve out like 50,000, 25 to 50,000 in precious metals at CortezWealthGold.com. You can check them out. Great guys over there. However, you got to diversify, man. I wouldn't have more than 6 months worth of bills in the bank. It's too scary out there. I don't like that KRE is artificially being propped up. I'm getting buy signals on KRE, and I can't even tell you why. Well, I can tell you why in theory, but I can't prove it. That they're just throwing money at the banks. They're just throwing money at the banks. And I usually, like, if an index is going up, I can say, oh, well, this reason why is because that one is doing this and that person is struggling here and there's a need and the problem's being solved, and that's why that index is doing well. I could usually like figure that out. Like with cocoa. Cocoa went up, and I've already told you guys it would come crashing down, and it did. And that was a $100,000 trade. That was like a Nancy Pelosi trade. Remember I was telling about cocoa? That thing dropped like a sack of potato chips or a sack of potatoes, and it dropped, and people made millions off of it. And I called it here this whole time. I said, look, cocoa's high, and it's going to come crashing down, and it came crashing down just over I think it still has another 2,000 points. You can make a ton of money on cocoa. Short in the futures on it. But there's other things that I'm looking at too. If you stay with me, I have a trade that I am going to be looking at. Woof! It is powerful, like real dog stuff. I mean, whoa. I don't want to give it away. You guys need to let me know if you want to know what it is. And it's not a recommendation. Read between the lines. But it is something for you to look at and for you to consider with your own money, obviously with the help of a financial advisor. But I'm looking at the Treasury yields, and there's a lot of money to be made when interest rates come crashing down, whenever that is. It could take 2 years, but imagine making a killing off of that. And so we have the software, we have the knowledge, we have, I don't know if I'm going to be providing that service to clients, but I'm, for education purposes, only going to be podcasting about it. I can talk about it. And it is not investment advice. I'm not saying you got to do this, but I like making six-figure trades and talking about it personally. So I can do that. So I am not going to talk about this podcast because I would be going over my allocated time in respect to the networks that I'm on. They give me a certain amount of time, and I gotta basically squeeze all the information in that, and it goes by quick. But stay with it next week, and I will talk about it because it's forming. It's forming, and I'm not going to give away what it is, but it is forming, and it's just going to take some time for it to form. But when it does, woo, holy smokes. Going to be, look, there's opportunity and devastation. There's opportunity and devastation. All right, enough of the financial talk. I want to talk about what's more important. So, as you guys know, I'm reading this awesome book by my friend Michael Pellegrino. Sent me this book, so thank you, Mike. And it's been a blessing. But I want you to guys know, in John 16:13, but when he, the Spirit of truth, comes, he will guide you into all the truth. I'll repeat it. But when he, the Spirit of truth, comes, he will guide you into all the truth. John 16:13. The enemy is terrified of strong, righteous men. That's why he works overtime to spread lies throughout culture and about how men are the problem and their masculinity is toxic. And that it would be better for the male half of the species to stop being, well, men. Satan will continue to challenge and disappoint from our personal histories and experiences to lie to us. The difficulties of hurts that we've known will always be our portion, and that there's nothing we can do to change that. It goes on and on about nightmares, and it's a commentary devotion book, guys. But I wanted to read the last paragraph because I got to keep this short. Wherever your history is, whenever your circumstances, wherever anyone has said about you, wherever lies you have been told or believed about yourself, the truth is that you are a son of God. You are mighty to him and made to do great works that bring him glory. You are loved, you are accepted, and you have a key role to play for this kingdom on earth. There are great things coming for you, and that's the truth. So that John 16:13, but when the Spirit of truth comes, he will guide you into all the truth. So I want you to start affirming that you are a you are a child of the utmost high, and that God has given us power. He's given us masculinity. He's given us boldness, and we need to step into that because legit God is telling us that he has our back. So how awesome is that? How awesome is that? We have a Lord that just tells us to be manly. That is beautiful. And so I get sick. I get like disgusted when I see weak men complaining about how hard things are and complaining about why they're the victim, why they're in their situation. It is time to take ownership. It is time to realize that we can indulge our whole life into God's word and be the man that he calls us to be. If you want to know your godly potential, then maybe riseupkings.com is for you. It's changed my life, and it's been a great, great emphasis of men that are struggling with their faith, their fitness, their family, and their finances. If you're a business owner or a young guy under 27, or just a guy that just wants to level up, then riseupkings.com is what I recommend. Check it out. Let them know I sent you. And I want to hear all about it. But we need to sharpen the men in this world because the men that are running this country, they're not even real men. Well, guys, I'm going to leave you with this video. This was at a Rise Up Kings event. The old guy in the back is my dad. It's just so you know, it was a bunch of pastors that we were toughening up. And they went through a refinery process as well. But I want to leave you with this worship video. And I love you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe with our channel on Scriptures and Wall Street on Rumble. So go there right now and like and subscribe. Also, I'm thinking about creating a store. I'm going to get with my team to see how I can do that. There's some people that saying, hey, we want a t-shirt. We want this book. We want a coffee mug. And so I'm coming up with some ideas, and we'll get that all, some merch squared away. But check out my new hoodie for the conservatives. You guys know I play hockey. This is my new conservatives hoodie. I love it. And anyways, if you want one, let me know. We can put your last name on it. If you want to support my hockey team, it's the Conservatives Beer League in Oldsmar, Florida. We are quickly getting very popular here in Tampa area. All right, guys. Well, God bless. I'm out of here with a bunch of businessmen. But now I get to worship with awesome saints, warriors. So it's an honor. You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me, and love has called my name. I've been born again into your family. Oh, your blood runs through my veins. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. Oh, 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 oh. You split the sea so I can walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I can stand and sing. I am a child of God. I can't hear you. You split the sea so I can walk right through it. Your fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I can stand and sing. I am a child of God. Yes, I am a child of God. Yes, Lord. Oh, your grace is beautiful. Your grace is sufficient, Lord. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. Oh, Lord. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. Oh, Lord. When the music fades and all is stripped away, I will simply come
just to bring something, I swear, that will bless your heart. I'll bring you more than a song, for a song in itself is not what you require. You'll search much deeper within, through the way things appear. You're looking into my heart. Come on. I'm coming back to the heart of worship, and it's all about you. Yes, it is, Lord. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for things I've made it, and it's all about you. Oh, it's all about you, Jesus. King of endless worth, no one could express how much you deserve. Though I'm weak and poor, and all I have is yours, every single breath, I'm coming back to the heart of worship, and it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. And I'm sorry, Lord, for the things I've made it, when it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. And it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. Lord, as we get into that ready room, let us use our sword and be that Old Testament warrior king. Let us bring us life to the man. Lord, let us walk with the Spirit, Lord, that you've promised us. Let us pierce through the darkness, God. Thank you for the punches. Thank you for the ice. Thank you for the pain, Lord. It's not even a fraction of what you did on Calvary, Jesus. And God, it's our responsibility, Lord, to carry the cross. And your grace is sufficient for me. Amen.